take over Spain back to Arab hands, because the Jewish in the time of the Arab control, they were living a little bit nicer, so they wanted the Arabs taking back Spain. Susana realized straight away that one of the first persons dying will be her boyfriend. So she went to him and said, run away, they're going to kill you. And this is exactly what he did. He ran away straight to his superior and reported what was going on. That night, the marshal of the city of Seville, Diego de Merlos, came over here with people of that he was very trusted, and they captured Diego Suson and those 20 members of the Jewish families. They were taken to San Francisco Square, where we are going to be finishing the tour. They were judged, and a couple of weeks later, they were all killed. Susana was absolutely depressed, goes back to her boyfriend, and the boyfriend said, I'm a nobleman. For me, loyalty is everything. You are not loyal, I don't want to be with you. Besides, you are blooded Jewish, I'm a Christian, this is not going to happen. She got absolutely depressed, went to have the confession, and secluded herself, closed herself into a convent. She lived there for a few years until she died. When Susana died, they found on her testament a will. She wanted her skull being separated of her body and being nailed up on that window over there. Being nailed up on that window over there for giving a message to the people. What might happen to you if you betray your faith and if you betray your family? Susana's head has been sitting there for until late 17th century, almost 18th century. It was in a very bad condition, absolutely rotten. So the city council decided to change it for something a little bit nicer, but still creepy. Come here and discover.
It's okay. It's comfortable. That was really good and like.
So over here, we are having the tribute of the city of Seville to Susana. And what we are having on the left of this tile is a mosaic, basically telling the story, the last story I just told you about Susana. In the last paragraph, it's saying that this event is being documented with names and with names, dates, and even witnesses. So, as I always said, everyone, Spain had written loads of golden and glorious pages into the history of humanity in general, but as well had written loads of dark pages. And instead of using ink for that, they used liters and liters of blood. And it's something that must not be forgotten. Here in Spain, before pointing out what happened in other countries, a little bit up north from here, with the minorities, we should start first looking what happened here. And as I said, it's something that we shouldn't forget as a society. When finally in 1492, the Christian kings signed up the definitive expulsion of all the non-Christians, even the converted one. And I'm talking about gypsies, and I'm talking about Muslims, and I'm talking as well, of course, about Jewish as well. Seville didn't really feel it. Why? Because Muslims, we didn't have many, because they were all either killed or forced to leave in the time of the Reconquer. By the time that Jews were forced to leave, there were always a couple of dozens of Jewish families here in Seville, after all what they suffered in the previous few centuries. And those communities that were forced to leave, only allowed to carry whichever they could carry on their own hands. No animals and no metals, except for the keys of your house, for proving ownership in the case you were pretending to come back at some point. Lots of people would melt in there a little bit of gold or a little bit of silver and those keys, just to being able to carry something with them. And all those properties and all that wealth went either to the hands of the king or to the hands of the church. And this was like the process that consisted on a transference of wealth from one layer of the society into the hands of the king or into the hands of the church. As I said, in this tour we are telling loads of legends and few truths. These last two ones were part of the truth, very sad but true, but it's something that, as I said, as a community we should always remember. I promise that this one will be the last the two last sad stories of the day. I'm going to try to cheer you up a little bit.
Is there any Jewish community left in Seville, or are they all not?
It's like quite small, but it's not as important as Seville. For example,